What I'm about to say is going to offend people who are in favour of the Occupy movement and anyone who is utterly selfish and obsessed with money. The rest of you should be fine, so relax. I'm as fond of banker bashing as the rest of you. I don't like their big bonuses. I don't like the fact that they lie to people all the time. I don't like the fact that for about 25 years, well 20 anyway, I couldn't get a bank account because I didn't have enough documentation to prove who I was, even though I could produce an army of people who had known that I had lived under this name and this personality since I was a child. I was even prepared to have a DNA test if necessary and prove that I am my father's daughter, and my father can prove his identity. But the thing is, banker bashing has limited appeal when it's included in a protest movement that seems to be based on urban camping and recreational rape. I don't see how either of those things afflict the bankers, even if they were to blame for our current situation, and the point of this video is that they're not. We all like scapegoats. We all like to be able to say, it was those mean, greedy bankers, those people who kept taking other people's money and speculating wildly with it, and lending money to people who couldn't pay back. And then you think, hold on a minute. Why did those people who couldn't pay it back take out mortgages? Why would anybody take out a loan that they couldn't pay back? Now, when you come down to it, the problem with the financial system is not that the bankers were out of control, although they were. It's not that they were irresponsible, although they were. It's us. It's everyone who has ever bought something they couldn't afford with money they didn't have. Anyone who's ever used a credit card and then later in the month found they couldn't quite pay it back. Everyone who's taken out a mortgage they knew they wouldn't be able to pay back. Anyone who goes to a loan shark, like the ones advertising on television with over 1,000 APR, and nobody ever checks. In fact, it's probably all of us. Because I know that I've thrown away things that were still good. I've bought things I didn't need. I've used money that I could have saved for better purposes. I've never evaded tax, but that kind of theft is also a problem, and if you've ever done something to avoid paying the full rate of tax, then you've stolen it from this mythical 99%. You're a thief. Tax avoidance and tax evasion, they tell us, are different things. That's because the rich people like tax avoidance. But in the end, if you're not paying your full whack of tax, then you're just stealing from other people. There's so much that we do that sets up a financial system where the way to get rich is to speculate with other people's money and mess around with financial wizardry, that it all comes crashing down as soon as somebody stops believing in it. So the solution isn't to go and pitch a tent and rape a few 14-year-olds. It's not to throw bricks through London windows or set fire to cars in Rome. It's to stop being greedy. And bear in mind that if you're in the Occupy movement or supporting it, the motivation for that whole movement is greed and envy anyway. These people aren't angry that the bankers have ruined everything, which they haven't, as I just pointed out. They're angry that they don't have as much as other people. And that's what the whole thing is, a middle class tantrum all about envy. If you're part of the Occupy movement, you are not part of a mythical 99% who want to be given justice and equality. You are part of a tiny percentage of 1% who are so driven by envy that you can't bear it and have to become violent and aggressive towards the rest of us, and in the meantime cause rubbish piles in areas, provide shelter for paedophiles and other sex offenders, provide drug dealers with a ready market, and cause ordinary members of the public not to be able to go into their own cities. You are, in short, selfish, greedy, hypocritical, idiots. But on the plus side, the whole financial system will sort itself out. They always do. What usually happens is a period of great difficulty, followed by the realisation we cannot go on like this, which I seem to recall is somebody's political slogan, but unfortunately they didn't live up to it. So everything will sort itself out, with or without a group of idiots camping in St Paul's Cathedral area. And the Occupy movement is going to be remembered as those prats in tents who supported rape. Occupy London Stock Exchange, who never reached the Stock Exchange, have now seized an empty building, which they call the Bank of Ideas. It's beautiful symbolism for their whole movement. They have this Bank of Ideas that is empty and abandoned. I'm sorry, but these idiots. I have never known a protest that didn't have a single driving idea before. And I've never known a protest whose only idea seemed to be, let's camp, and if any vulnerable teenagers walk past, let's have sex with them. That isn't a protest. That's an 18 to 30 holiday. I'm sorry, but no. If you support it, you're a fool. If you're in one of the camps, you're a criminal. And if you have ever spent more money than you have, or taken out a loan you couldn't repay, you're the cause. You're part of the problem. And the best thing you can do is get your own finances in order and start living within your means. And that's the key for all of us. And that will change the world.